Ruth, what is very interesting is that we would like to know what was on the back of your mind. Why did you make this film? And when we arrive at the end of it, then we saw with a beautiful carton written text. We understand why did you make this film. Can you tell us a little bit about uh, how was the idea that came to your mind to make this film?
Um, well, definitely Sunday Beauty Queen is my homage to my mother, whom I did not have a chance to meet. She went away when I was born, and she never came back. So she's missing at the moment. Um, and when I met the domestic workers in Hong Kong, I saw thousands of them, and I saw in their faces, maybe one of them could be my mother, and I wanted to trace the story of my mother through their journey. Um, she once worked as a domestic worker in my father's family, and yeah, being in a Catholic setup, that wasn't really the ideal situation at the time when I was born. So she was asked to leave in exchange that I could have a better life, which I did growing up. I'm very thankful for my father's family for giving me a good life and being able to study journalism and learn films and follow my path. But uh, it's something in me is still missing. It's something basic, not it's something very basic, to have a mother, and it's something that I do not have. And this film is somehow quite personal for me. Um, that I wish I could learn her story through the Sunday Beauty Queens, these domestic workers living in Hong Kong. But having said that, when I discovered the story of the domestic workers in Hong Kong, it went beyond the personal longing to know the story of my mother, because I realized that every women have their own journey and their own stories, and the story of the thousands, even millions of migrant workers, especially Filipino migrant workers around the world, speak so much volume of the need to tell their stories and make sure that the world will never forget their service.
Yeah, thank you very much.
I don't know. I hope I was able to answer that. That's very quite personal, but yeah.
Yeah, it is very quite personal, but it's you make it so universal. What is very interesting is that you make it so universal that we understand it how it is. The way you explain it, it's a personal story, but it's a universal story. It doesn't only belong to Philippines, it can also be in other part of the world. So thank you very much with this personal touch and this universal answer that you made it with your film.
Yeah, well, I hope people will appreciate the journey of the Filipino migrant workers. Yeah, one of them, is my mom. So, thank you very much. Yeah, for the interest to know them.
Yeah, and I think that in the filmmaking you bring it beautifully because it comes at the end of the film.
Thank you. Yeah, I mean, I don't want it to be personal. Like I'm not that type of filmmaker.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, if there's a way to make this film with a purpose, and yeah, make me an instrument of that particular change that we want to advocate for the millions of migrant workers living in different parts of the world, seeking for their own version of justice, protection, and just being recognized for their work, especially now that it's COVID-19. We're living in a world of pandemic. Our frontliners, I've seen like the migrant workers working as nurses in different parts of the world, and their work is so important now more than ever. All those domestic workers, staying with families, making sure that they are well taken care of, even though their families back home, are longing for their presence. We are living in this very interesting time, and we are also redefining what family means. So I'd like us to reflect on that a bit. Like, what does it mean to be a family?
It can be in Philippines, in Dubai, it can be in India, it can be anywhere else. It's you treat it in a very well way that is really universal.